Hello there, welcome to the Witness History Podcast here on the BBC World Service. I'm Rob Walker, and in today's programme we're going back 10 years to May 2013. We'll be hearing about what it was like to be a storm chaser on the trail of the widest tornado ever recorded.
Take immediate tornado precautions now. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation.
It's May the 31st, 2013. Severe storms are threatening large areas in the US state of Oklahoma, and warnings from the government's National Weather Service are being relayed on local radio.
Take cover now in a storm shelter or an interior room of a sturdy building. Stay away.
There's no place in the world that tracks tornadoes like Oklahoma, in my opinion. I mean, we are in the epicenter of Tornado Alley. Statistically, the most likely county in the U.S. to be struck by tornadoes is Oklahoma County.
One of the meteorologists who was monitoring the storm that day was Emily Sutton. She works for K4TV in Oklahoma City, and she's a member of the station's storm chasing team.
So we are crazy enough to have helicopters fly right next to the tornado, a fleet of storm trackers driving right up next to the tornado. The reason for doing this is we want to give people as much advanced warning as possible so they can seek shelter.
Do not stop under bridges or highway overpasses. They will not protect you from a tornado.
So here we are. We are prepared in the Weather Center. We have a game plan. We know where our storm chasers will be. So we went out to our target area by El Reno.
It has multiple vortices. I see the vortices swirling around this tornado. This is a violent tornado.
So we approach the storm. All of a sudden, it starts dropping small tornadoes. We call those vortices. So when it starts dropping small tornadoes spaced apart, you know it is going to be a huge tornado.
I think we're trying to get a hold of Mike Bettis. Mike, can you hear us?
Guys, that's it. Right there. Look at that monster. This is a huge tornado.
By this point, other storm trackers were also monitoring the storm from different locations on the ground. This from Mike Bettis on the Weather Channel.
Violent tornado right now. We are probably roughly a mile away from it right now, and it is absolutely enormous. Right now, you have to get to your shelter as quickly as possible.
So we start to see these multiple vortices, and I'm driving. I'm on the phone waiting to go live on air while my storm chase partner, Kevin Josephis, sitting shotgun in the passenger seat.
Doing good.
There it is. Let's just stop and get a view of it.
So when we come up to the storm, it's a supercell, so it's a rotating thunderstorm. And when you're watching for a tornado, underneath the supercell, you are looking for a lowering called the wall cloud. And from the lowering, typically you have a funnel. That's the start of the tornado. This happened so quickly, though, that we looked over and I see 2 or 3 tornadoes touching down. And within a few seconds, there are even more tornadoes all rotating around each other. So when a tornado is that large, it takes up almost your entire frame of vision.
It's right there.
And at that point, we noticed a change in the tornado. The tornado was rapidly changing direction. We see this large black cloud crossing in front of us. The wind started picking up and picking up and picking up, feeding into the storm.
Is this just the inflow?
Now, rationally, I thought this is just inflow, which are warm winds that feed a storm. Winds can be over 100 miles per hour just feeding into a large tornado. Well, the wind started to pick up.
Oh my God, it's pulling up.
We see the trees bend over. There was some sort of large bird fly by, probably a goose.
It is a violent multi-vortex large tornado. Go to Emily. Emily Sutton's in it. Emily, go. Emily Sutton is in the tornado. And as you might imagine, her phone is breaking up.
Then you can hear my voice breaking up. I'm saying Mike, and I'm trying to talk to him live on air. And you see the wind, you see the trees blowing, and then I felt prickles on my neck and realized our back window blew out.
With the effect of the storm?
Yes, from the winds. So I don't think I had a moment to say, oh crap. I was trying to stay focused on driving.
Guide me.
We were driving backwards at that point because my storm chase partner was saying, we need to back up, we need to go. And I was not going to take my eyes off that tornado. So he guided me. I continued to drive backwards.
And watching the footage from that day, I mean, it's like something out of a film, isn't it? Because as you're trying to reverse away, there's this big black cloud which is almost chasing you.
Yes, I wouldn't say it was chasing us as much as it was just rapidly expanding, but we were trying to get out of its grasp.
Okay.
All of a sudden, my storm chase partner says, stop, 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 stop. And I don't stop because there's a tornado in front of us.
Hey, stop right there. Stop, 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 stop.
And then all of a sudden, our dashboard cam goes black, live on air, and I hit a guardrail, so that pauses us. But the way it appears on air, to the viewer, it looks like we died. And mind you, this was being live streamed across the nation. And I didn't tell my parents that I was storm chasing that day. So people started calling them in Chicago. And for all they knew, their daughter died storm chasing.
Many people were trapped in their cars, including a mother and her baby who were sucked out of their vehicle when the tornado hit.
8 people were killed by the tornado. It was later found to have been the widest ever recorded. And although it had tragic consequences, it did fortunately pass mainly across rural areas. If it had hit a town or a city, the impact would most likely have been catastrophic.
Here in Oklahoma, tornado scientists come from all over the world to study tornadoes. They ended up estimating the winds at 296 miles per hour. And we found out from post-analysis that when the tornado turned north, it went from 1 mile wide to 2.6 miles wide in 30 seconds. So when that happened, they caught a ton of storm chasers off guard. We were in the outer bands of the tornado. We were very lucky.
But as CNN reported, some of those tracking the storm that day weren't so fortunate.
The storm so erratic that among those killed were veteran storm chasers Tim Samaras, his 24-year-old son Paul Samaras, and fellow tornado researcher Carl Young. Their lifelong passion cut short by a ferocious twister's unpredictable force.
Tim Samaras was a pioneer in our field. He had been chasing for 30 years, at least, at the time. And that really shook up the entire storm chase and weather community, that if a veteran storm chaser like that could die, any of us could die from a tornado.
And for you, I mean, what kind of impact did that day have on you, would you say?
Oh, that day had a big impact on everyone. My big thing was feeling so helpless. Our job is to try and save lives, and people died. And then also dealing with the fact that we could have died. I'm still kind of processing that to this day.
And going forward, I mean, are you going to carry on storm chasing?
Oh, that's a big discussion between me and my husband. He says no. I don't know where my heart's at yet. I will tell you that we had tornado warnings one Sunday night not too long ago. Well, I had my baby sleeping next to me, and I grabbed her out of her crib and waited by the basement. I actually felt nervous for the first time. And so I guess being a mom was a little different. So we'll see what happens. You know, as a storm chaser, it's really exciting to see Mother Nature in action. And so it's something incredible that I've seen, but I never want to see again.
That was Emily Sutton, a storm chaser with K4TV in Oklahoma. And she was speaking to me, Rob Walker, for the Witness History podcast here on the BBC World Service. If you've enjoyed listening, then please do leave us a review, and also please do share the programme with anyone you think might like to hear it. It really helps to let people know about the fascinating stories that people tell us here on Witness History. Thanks for listening, and also we've got loads more stories on our website if you'd like to have a browse.